Hi, welcome to another lecture of JS Yatra. In this lecture, we are going to write the code for the star rating system. The level of this question is medium. Without wasting any time, let us see what we are going to build today. You already know about the star rating system. If not, then let me explain it for you. Star rating system is a kind of a system where the user can rate certain stars to a particular, let's say, hotel, to a particular service, to a particular entity or something. And that rating system is being used to identify the quality of that product. And this star rating is being used at multiple places. You can check at probably if you book any hotel via Airbnb or other stuff, then Make My Trip, then you get to rate the hotel. So keeping that thing in mind, this is what we are going to build today. You can see that when the page loads, it is having a predefined amount of stars. Let's say the stars given to this particular hotel is 3. And as a user, now I want to update the star, or I want to give a star rating to this particular hotel or item. So what we can do, you can see, is like I can hover on each of the star like this, and the star gets highlighted the moment I hover upon any star. Okay, you can see that the moment I hover on the second star, so the first 2 stars are highlighted or filled. If I move to third, now third one is also filled, and similarly if I move to 4, all stars are filled with color. If I remove my cursor without doing anything, the star rating system is expected to revert back to its original state. And if I click on any star like this, you can see that I have updated the system. You can see that there is also a loader as well, which is a part of the optimistic updates, which is also covered in the system design question of the poll widget in the same course only. So you are going to see the live demonstration of one of the concepts of system design, and this code is also having one design pattern as well. We will be using the render props method for it, and obviously you'll be learning how we can convert SVG to a React component via SVGR, and you'll be learning like how to build this, and obviously you'll be learning how to build the system as well. So regarding the optimistic update, let me show you some examples. So currently the star, I have given 2 stars to this thing. Now if I hit on 4 and now update it at 4. Now again, if I try to give it a 2 star, you see that there was a failure and it reverted back to 4. So let me tell you one thing. So this star rating system is integrated with backend. For example, right now for demonstration, we won't be integrating it with backend, but on the real production environment, consider example of Make My Trip, then obviously this star rating system will get stored somewhere on the backend with a data that, okay, this hotel has a 4-star rating or 5-star rating. So on the same lines, let's say the backend has some errors, or a backend is taking time to respond. So how are we going to enhance the user experience? So the moment I click, the moment I rate a item like this, so I have to immediately update the user state on the UI, and then I can show a loader that, okay, I am waiting for the backend to confirm whether this request was considered or not. If the request was considered, I can update the star to whatever the user has selected, and we do nothing. Or if there was a case of failure, then I revert back to the previous selection before the user has rated anything. So currently you can see I have given 4 stars. If I try to give it 2, and if there is a case of success, it stays at 2. Now if I try to do a 4, so there was no case of success, it was a case of failure, so it reverted back to 2. So this is a really nice feature, and trust me, if you mention about this feature in your machine coding round, or if you somehow write the code for it for optimistic update thing, then trust me, you are going to gain a massive upper hand in the interview, and the interviewer is going to be highly impressed. Obviously you will be making the whole component. We will be discussing it in the video, but trust me, there are certain things which the interviewers are seeking in the perfect candidates, and the moment you speak out the things that the interviewer is expecting, you are going to crack that interview like anything. So enough talking, now let us dive into the code and see what we can build out today. So we obviously don't need these things, we can get rid of it and add a fragment. We have added a fragment over here. And first of all, let us gather the components for us that is required. So I'll be, accessing all the SVGs. So if I try SVG star image, and let's go to UX wing, maybe we can find a better one, and let us select this particular star, the black one, and then let me download it as SVG. I have downloaded it here. Let me open it and let's try to get the SVG from it. So you can see that this is the SVG. So we can right click edit as HTML, copy everything, and now SVG to React via SVGR. So what you are currently seeing, this is not a JSX. Okay, this is just a HTML tag with like other properties. So if you try to render this directly on your React system, then this is not going to work. First of all, we have to convert this SVG into a proper React component. So we go to SVGR, we copy paste it everything, and we copy the output from here. And let us go to the application. I create one more new file and I call it as a star.jsx, and I paste everything, and I call it as a star as well. Oops, star and star. Okay, so we have got it. This is the height, width, and the props, and we also can add the class names as well, but that is something we'll take up later. And we also need a spinner as well. So SVG spinners, you can go to loading.io and you can definitely download a spinner from here. So this was a spinner that you were seeing on the UI. So you can click on SVG, you can click on animated, and it will download it for you. So you can see this SVG got downloaded. All you need to do is click on this SVG, inspect the item, again perform the same stuff, edit as HTML, copy all the SVG, go to SVGR, paste it again here, and copy this JSX. And let us come back here and create one more file called as spinner.jsx, and let us paste it over here, and let me call it a spinner. We can call it as a spinner, and we can over here. Obviously we need to change the height width. We don't need much bigger loader, and we also don't need this margin auto. We can get rid of it. So these were the two things. We have got the icons and the spinner for us. What remaining is the major stuff, that is writing the ratings component. So I'll go ahead and create a rating.jsx component for us, and this would be const rating. All right, and let me return a div. Okay, so we are having a ratings component. Let me save it, and let's import this rating component. Import rating from ./ratings, and let me render this thing over there. All right, now is the time, very crucial time, to define the props that we are going to need when we are actually making this ratings component. So first thing first, we need a definite amount of numbers of items that we are going to see. Let's suppose we are going to show 5 stars or 4 stars or 3 at the max. So we need a prop saying total items, and let's say I say we need 4 stars for now. And what is the current rating? Okay, the current rating, let's say I say the current rating is 2 for a particular item. And whenever I am clicking on any of the star, I should have a callback function over here that I can do something. I can perform a state update, or I can call an backend API. So on item click should be a good name, I guess. And let us create a functions. Const handle rating should work. Okay. And once you click the item, you also need to pass like the design system as well, and this is where we'll be talking about the render props pattern. So if you're not aware of what a render props pattern is, let me brief you in short that you can pass your own design system via the render props pattern. By design system, I mean that let's say you are seeing these stars, right? Black and the red stars. Now let's suppose I created this component and I want and some another user is using this component in his project. So, and in his project, instead of stars, he is having some triangles or any other icon for it. So this component should be very much customizable to an extent that the developer using this component can pass his or her own rating item over here. Be it star over here, can be a triangle or anything based on their requirements. So it should be very much configurable. So for that, I can call it as a rating item. And over here, this is the place where we are going to import the star component. So import star from /star, and I'm going to render this star component right here. All right. And apart from rating item, we also need to show a loader as well. So let me have is loading state. By default, it is false. Okay, we are not loading anything. And I have a loader item. Okay, and this loader item is what? This loader item is nothing but the spinner. So we are going to import spinner from /spinner, and I'm going to render this spinner over here. And I also want to close the bracket as well. So see, this component is very much customizable now. So today I pass a star component, and in future I can pass a triangle component without changing anything inside the ratings component. So this is very much customizable, and so it also follows a render props design pattern as well. So you can speak about the two things once you are finished writing the props for the component, that hey, I am following the render props pattern and this component is highly customizable. So again, you'll start creating a good impression on the interviewer's mind. Once this you have finalized, and once you and the interviewer agree on this prop structure, and you finally decide, okay, this is good to go, then you start creating the ratings, like you start writing the code inside the ratings component. The first step is to get all the requirements, icons, fonts, or other stuff that you have in the project. Next, you define all the props that is going to be needed in your made component. Once decided on that, you progress forward in writing the code for it. So inside the ratings component, let me quickly grab all the props. These are the total items, ratings, on item click, rating item is loading, loader item. All right. So in the total items, we get the number. Okay, we'll be having total 4 stars. So now it is our duty to create a 4 stars and render 4 stars on the UI. And this is, trust me, really very simple. There is nothing. You can write array dot from, and the length is what? Total items. Okay, dot map item comma index, and after this you are calling the rating item like this. Okay, so I missed the syntax here. It has to be like this. And okay, and now we have 4 stars onto the screen. You can see them over here. So what I did was nothing. I created an array from the number. So number 4 was given to us in form of the total items props. I created an array by this particular code, like array.from, and I pass the length as the total items, and then I am mapping over each array item, and I'm having an item which is obviously undefined at the place right now because we have not filled the array with anything, and obviously the index. And what I'm doing is I am having this rating item over here, and in this rating item I am having the star component being rendered. So once I call the function rating item, I am calling this particular function which is returning us the star. So if you are still confused about the render props pattern, you can go to my YouTube channel and search for render props JS Cafe, and you can see this video to understand how the render props is working. And this is a very great design pattern as well. All right, so moving on to the next part, we have rendered the stars. We are rendering the stars. Okay, so the next part, which is we are having a loading item, we are having loader items, and let us try to make this interactable as well. So let us try to fix the UI first, and then we'll come to the interactions. So first of all, let us wrap this in a span, and I'm calling it like this. And this particular span item, first of all, would be having a key. Let's mark it as index because we are not removing or adding any item over here. Then we have on mouse enter. On mouse enter, we want to trigger a function, and also we have on mouse leave. The on mouse enter and on mouse leave will be the part. Let's suppose this is the individual star item. I am entering the mouse and I'm leaving the mouse. So this is mouse enter, this is on mouse leave. So on mouse enter, I'll have to highlight it, and mouse leave, I have to keep it back to the original state. So we are having on mouse enter, on mouse leave, and also we'll have on click as well, which is on clicking any item, we are triggering this spinner and we are rating any item onto the screen. So these are the 4 action items that we are going to use. We have the item over here like this. So let us try to fill these action items with the logics. We'll be also needing another state. So another state is like when you are hovering this item, you have to know that, okay, I am hovering on the index number 3 or index number 2, index number 1 or index number 0. So we need a hovering index. Okay, so let me create an data for us, like hover index set hover index is equal to use state. Currently we are not having any hover state, so it is null. All right, and we are having a rating item, we are having a hover index. Now when we are actually entering the mouse, so what we have to do is, let's suppose we are doing a mouse enter on index number 2, then the hover index should be changed to 2, right? This is very much clear. So the hover index should be changed to 2, and 2 is index over here. And on mouse leave, I have to reset this particular thing. Okay, so on mouse leave, what I'll do is I'll call this as null. Okay. And on click, okay, so on click, when we are clicking any item, so we already have a action item from here, that on item click we are going to call this function. Okay, a star was clicked, and also I am going to pass the new item, new active item that is going to be active right now. The new active item would be the current index plus 1. Why plus 1? Because we are having a 0 index. So if I click on this, this is the first item at index 0. So the item is 0 plus 1, 1. The index is 1, but the item is 2. So 1 plus 1, 2 gives the item number over here. So I am passing this over here, right? And we'll be also consuming that like how we can highlight this particular rating item, like over here. Okay, so we were missing this. All right, so now the next part is that we have to also highlight this rating item as well. And to check that, let me create a function for us. Const is item field. Okay, and it is going to take an index over here. All right, and what I'll be doing is I'll be calling this is item field over here, and I'm going to pass the index. All right, so what this is going to take is, first of all, if I am going to check that whether an item should be filled or not. Okay, this is what we have to decide. By filled, I mean that is having this nice red background color. So this is in filled state, this is in unfilled state, in black. So if our hover index is already present, which means that I am actually hovering on any item, so I have to mark all the items that are that are actually less than 2. So 0, 1, 2, this is the index. So if I'm hovering on 2, then 0, 1 and 2 means that less than equals to 2. All of the indexes that are less than equals to 2 are going to be highlighted. So if our index is not null, which means that I am actually hovering. So if our index is not equal to null, then what shall be the rule of having an active item? The rule is that, so the index should be less than equal to a hover index. This is what I wanted. What is hover index? Hover index was a 2 over here, and what is active index? 0, 1, 2, or the index, just index 0, 1, 2. So 0 will get also highlighted, 1 will also get highlighted, and 2 will also get highlighted. So if the index is less than equal to hover index, if I have not hovered on the card, on the item, then what I have to do is, so if I having an index like the rating item is like if the rating item is 2, then I have to highlight 2 elements, 0 and 1. So index is like 1 less than the rating number. So if the rating is 2, then I have to highlight 0, 1. If the rating is 3, then I have to highlight 0, 1, 2. Okay, this is 1 less than the rating number. What I can do is I can just write the index should be less than rating, and this shall work. All right, so this will return a boolean whether that if the item should be filled or not, and in the rating item prop we can consume it. So I can pass it as is filled. Okay, and I can pass this as is filled like this over here. All right, so I have passed is filled. Okay, if the item is going to be filled or not. And after this, in the star component only, which we created just now, I am going to extract is filled over here. I don't need the props, I need class name. Okay, so if it is filled, then add a class as star underscore filled, or do nothing, and also have a base class of a star. Not here, here is what we need. All right, so star filled, and over here, so let us write the CSS also once. I can get rid of this, and okay, so this is the CSS that we are going to need. The star filled is going to fill the SVG with color red, and the star is having a basic of a margin right of 10 pixels, and it is having a cursor pointer and transition of this many seconds. So you can see that it is actually started looking good by just a small CSS and some core logics in the ratings component, and I can like have the very nice animation looking over here. Also we are having a ratings container as well. I guess over here last name equals to rating container. Okay, this rating container will help us in aligning the spinner as well. Let me write the CSS for it as well. So ratings container is going to be having a display fix so that all the stars are aligned like this in a horizontal fashion. And next we are having is on click and other stuffs. So we are having the loading item. How can we forget it? So over here, I guess we will need it. So if is loading, then render the loading item like this. All right. So if I change the loading to true right now and come over here, you can see that spinner is loading like this. Okay, this is a really great UI right now, and let us keep it false for now. Okay, so we have almost finished with what we needed in the ratings component. We have consumed the loader, we have consumed all the specifications that we are going to need. Now it's a time to write the consumer part where we are going to actually consume this application. All right, so what are we having? So currently we'll be having a current rating data value. So const current rating, set rating is going to be use state, and the current rating is let's say a 2 by default, and I am passing the rating over here like this. So I'm passing it over here like this. 4 is going to be a static value coming, and we are having a handle rating thing over here. So handle rating is being called by on item click, and on the on item click what we are passing is the actual rating item. All right, so this is very simple. So new rating is what we'll be receiving as a prop over here, and I can do is set rating as a new rating, and let us see that if it is working or not. And this is working absolutely fine. So you can see that we are able to update the ratings, and it is looking very nice right now. So up till now, what we have covered the hovering states, we have covered the click actions. So what remaining right now is the most awaited part, optimistic updates. We are going to implement that optimistic update right here. Although we are not having any backend API, so to simulate the asynchronous nature of the APIs, we are going to use a set timeout for sure. So first of all, I'll create a ref const previous rating. Okay, this is going to be a use ref. Okay, so before updating the rating of any item, what I'll do is I'll preserve the previous rating value like this. Previous rating dot current equals to current rating. Okay, so I'll add a comment, preserve previous rating value. Okay, now after that I'll update the rating, but in asynchronous fashion as well. So once I get the previous rating value, I can change the loading value as well. So let us create one const again, state is loading, set is loading is going to be a use state as a false for now, and I'm going to pass is loading over here, and I'm going to do a set loading as a true. Okay, so what we are doing right now is whenever I am updating the rating, I am setting the loading as true, and I am updating the rating value, and I am also preserving the previous rating value as well. but this is going on forever and I need to get a closure on this as well. By not the JS closure, I mean I need to get a final decision that whether the API call was successful or not. So we have updated the rating and other stuffs, and what we can do is I can just create a set timeout like this over here. It is just for the sake of explanation. You can tell the interviewer that since we are not having any we are not making any fetch calls, we are not having any API, I'm using a set timeout just to mimic that asynchronous nature. So I'm having a set timeout which is going to wait for like 2 seconds. Okay, and we need to make it very random, so it has to fail one time and it has to pass one time. Okay, and so for that what I am thinking is I can create a random number between 1 and 10, like math dot random. I multiply it by 10. Okay, this is going to give me values in decimals as well, like 6.77777874 or 4.34, something like this. So I need to get rid of the decimal. I can do math route wrong as like this so that it is very much clear, or we can not use round as well if you are okay. I mean, I need to just get any value between 1 and 10. So math.random gives you a very long decimal number between 0 and 1. It is like 0.16419 or whatever value. And by just multiplying it by 10, I am making it like 2.66 or 3.49 or whatsoever. So by multiplying it by 10, I am changing the base, and I'm making sure that the number lies between 1 and 10 only. Yep. So after this, what we are going to do is I'm going to have a if check, and it has to be 1D. If so I'm going to make it a 50-50 case. If the random number is less than 5, okay, then it is a failure case of failure. Okay, else passed. Okay, this is what we are going to make. So if it is a random number, value comes less than 5, it is the case of failure, then we have to handle it. If it is a pass, then we don't do anything over here. So if it is a case of failure, what we have to do is we have to do a very simple thing, that we are going to set the rating to the previous value only. This is what we are going to do. And once this set timeout is executed, what I can do is I can call this set loading as false. Okay, and let us see this in action. So if I rated it at 4, it was rated at 4. If I give it a 1 rating, it is having 1 rating. If I am giving 3 rating, it is not taking 3 rating because there was a case of failure. So see, this is looking very nice, and this is having all of the things that a star rating component should have. Let me summarize it quickly for you. Okay, so we are having all the required SVGs. So most of the time I've seen candidates struggling with getting SVGs and icons, and they end up installing React icons and other dependencies, and you all obviously know that we are not allowed to import any dependency in the project. So SVGs are the good way to rescue us. What you can do is you can go to SVGR and copy your SVG code. You can download SVG from any website and get the component, copy it, and just render it like this. So you're not cheating because you are just importing a SVG. So there is no harm actually. Now once that is done, you finalize on all the props. This is the next step we have to do. Once the props are done, you have to also keep in mind that you follow at least one design pattern. We followed the render props pattern over here because we saw the scenarios like these icons can get changed in the future. The user can pass their own design system. That was one stuff. Then post that, we also had a render prop for the loader item as well. All of this was done. Then we also talked about like how we can render this item over here. We developed this rating component. We have written all the logic. We kept this component as simple as possible, and we also saw how we can utilize the render props over here. Once these all is done, we came back and then we went above and beyond. We went beyond the expectations of the interviewer, and we implemented the optimistic updates. Optimistic update is what, where we update the UI instantly without waiting for the backend call. And once the backend responds, we check that if it was a success call or a failure call. If it was a success call, we don't do anything. But if it was a failure call, we update the state of the UI to the just previous version. So this was a star rating component for you all. I hope you like this video. If you have any doubt, feel free to ping in the community on the Graphy website only. And yeah, this was all in this lecture. See you in the next one.